This episode of Breakthrough Success is brought to you by Jobber. Jobber is your business command center. The easy-to-use app powers your sales, operations, and customer service all in one place. Go check them out at getjobber.com/im/breakthrough to receive 20% off your first 6 months. Hey, Breakthrough Success listeners, thank you so much for joining me on another episode. And in this episode, we are going to talk about how you could get in front of millions of people using free PR. Our guest who you're going to hear from soon actually uses PR very effectively to get herself and her clients in front of people. So we're going to get into that really shortly. Afterwards, at some point, let me know your thoughts on the episode, and I'd really love to hear from you. So if you have the time, I would super appreciate if you could leave a quick review for the show on iTunes or Stitcher or your favorite place, because reviews like that make a big difference and allow me to see things that I can improve on, some of my strengths of hosting Breakthrough Success. So I'd really love to hear from you during this journey. So right now we're going to get into the interview, and I hope you all enjoy it. What's up, Breakthrough Success listeners? Marc Guberti here, the podcasting coach, helping people launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts. And one of the things that a lot of people ask me about is, how do we get more exposure? How do we get all these big media people to mention us, to like be in Forbes, Inc., like CNBC, all these different places? How do we get featured on all these different places? And the answer that people will give you is spend $5,000 on a PR service. But in this episode, we're going to share with you how you can do it all for free, because our really awesome guest here, she has been a speaker also at the Wealthy Author Summit. So I know her very well. I know we're going to give you great value. She, just to give you some context, is a DIY PR strategist and best-selling author of PR for Anyone, 100 plus affordable ways to easily create buzz for your business. And in that book, she shares her journey of getting exposure for a product she invented, healinstyle.com. That's where you can learn more about that product. But I mean, like, she's been able to get herself and her clients combined literally 873 million views and over 8 figures in revenue. So if there's someone who knows about getting free PR, it's definitely the person with PR for Anyone in the background. So our guest for this episode is none other than Christina Davis. Christina, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you so much for having me. And let me tell you, the numbers that you just gave out, the 873 million and 8 figures in sales, was 1 year. That was just last year.
Oh, yeah. I meant to mention that. Yeah, I see that.
So,
yeah, like 1 year, though. So, like, you thought the number was so impressive before we said anything, but now that's all in 1 year. So I feel like we just have to get into this interview because,
yes,
I mean, for all that value. So I'm wondering if you could share with us how your PR journey began, just some background, and expand from there.
Sure. So I retired. I owned a retail store. I was burned out. I sold my share to my business partner and was doing nothing, which, you know, as entrepreneurs, we don't sit around and do nothing. So I had a freak accident. I broke my foot and we were headed to New York City. I'm in that big, awful medical boot. And I'm Googling, you know, medical boot fashions, medical boot accessories, like anything to make this boot look better. And there was nothing on the market. So the light bulbs went off. I swear my husband could read the light bulbs on the train. Like, here she goes again. There's another business venture. But I created a fashion line for them. And I did all the business things. You know, I did a business plan. I did focus groups. Everybody loved it. What I didn't take into account was that I had invented something that nobody had done before. It wasn't in the marketplace. And nobody knew they needed, you know, to decorate their medical boots. So I didn't know how to go about that. I was dead broke. I had hired a very poor retail manager, which was awful. We mortgaged the house, maxed out credit cards, and I was like, uh-oh. So I learned about this thing called publicity, and it's free. And I got really good at it. And in my first year of business, I was in 50 media outlets, including Steve Harvey. I mean, national television.
Wow, that's a big deal.
It was huge. And I realized what that did for my business. So I kept doing it and kept doing it. And then people kept calling me saying, Christina, how are you doing this? Can I take you to breakfast? Can I take you to lunch? And I always joke that I didn't have any more breakfasts or lunches left on my calendar. So I started a new business.
Wow.
And now I teach people how to do this. And I love it because it works. And if you do it, if you follow my system, I knock on wood now every time I say this, but in 7 years, nobody has ever called me or emailed me and said, Christina, I did everything you said to do and it didn't work. Never. So it works. You just have to do it and you have to implement it and you have to be willing to do a little bit of work. But I don't know where else you could get 1 million potential customers learning about you at no cost.
Yeah, and I mean, it does take a little more work. It's not like you click a few buttons and you make the magic happen. Like, some ads, you could do that. But with the PR, you get a ton of exposure. It's free exposure. And I feel like when you get the initial momentum, you have media outlets that will actually reach out to you, which is anyone's dream when it comes to, like, if you have a business, that's the big thing. You want to have Forbes and those people reach out to you. So can you talk a little bit about how you got the initial momentum, like how you got those 50 big appearances in your first year and what that's led to now?
Yeah, it was hustling. I mean, you've got to, again, it's worth the work. So Steve Harvey, I actually got on through Help a Reporter Out. If you're not signed up for that, I strongly recommend it. I am 14 pages of Google when you put my name in, all from media appearances, and a big chunk of those came from Help a Reporter Out. It is worth 5 minutes a day doing it. And even if I never got anything else, I only got the Steve Harvey show, doing Haro every day for 5 years is worth that. If that's the only thing I got. So it's really worth it. Local is a great place to start. Position yourself as an expert. You were talking about media for podcast hosts. You're probably not going to get media about the podcast itself. It's your topic. It's your expertise. Now you might, because your expertise is podcasts. But most people, what you're going to do is position yourself as an expert and as a podcast host on this topic. That's what you're an expert at. And local media loves to cover local businesses. Give them a good angle. Give them some good spin. And, that's what I teach. How do you make yourself newsworthy? That's, how do you get creative in giving the media something that they want? And that's how you do it. You just have to start.
And I love the idea of giving the media what they want, because I think so many people are focused on what they want to get out of the media, how they want the media to write about them. But the media is only going to write about you if it's something that fits their agenda, if it fits their calendar. So you do have to think in that way. One of the things that I do want to hit on also is you could get this exposure, but then it's just like bragging rights. Now, the way Christina does it and the way she helps her clients do, like, we already hit on the millions of views, the 8 figures, which is maybe even the more important metric, because there are people who they get the publicity, but they don't know what to do with it. So how do you build a brand around the publicity that you could be getting?
Right. You have to be your own megaphone. You have to be. Steve Harvey is not pushing out my segment anymore, but I am. So that's the thing. You've got to cue that stuff up and let your customers know. If you're on NBC, CBS, ABC, whatever that is, that's a perfect thing to send to your email list. Hey, did you see this? Because it builds your credibility with them. Schedule out your social media posts. So, and even if you're only on Facebook, Twitter, you can schedule this stuff and it just spins out and you can constantly do your media appearances. But Facebook, do a throwback Thursday, do things like that. Remind people, get those logos on your website. There are studies that show that people will pay more to work with people who are in the media. So it's up to you to do that. Are you going to get a customer the second the article comes out or it airs? Maybe not. But you will build on that and you will use that as credibility to get business. People like to work with me because of what I do and where I've been. And I got a meeting with the president of a $40 billion corporation president. I just sent him an email. I had this great idea. He invited me to his office. I'm in the penthouse office overlooking DC, and he came marching in and he said, do you know what happens when you Google you? He wanted to know who this woman was in his backyard who, was me. How did I do this? So that's the stuff that happens. That's how you get the meetings. That's how you get the clients, but it's up to you to put it out there.
Coming up on Breakthrough Success, when you get a big PR opportunity, how do you push that out so you get more exposure? That coming up after the Jobber Minute. If you're like any business owner, you're wondering, how can I grow my business? And Jobber could be a great resource for you. Aside from their helpful business software, Jobber offers a range of other support services their customers can take advantage of. One we can't say enough amazing things about is Jobber Shop, a speaker event series that provides entrepreneurs with tons of valuable insights on a range of topics, including marketing, strategy, and business development. They also offer Jobber Academy, which provides expert advice, tools, and best practices for people looking to improve their businesses. And of course, you can stay in the loop on all of the latest Jobber news by following them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and their LinkedIn pages at Get Jobber, which is their username. And if you guys want to give Jobber a try, make sure you do that through getjobber.im/breakthrough, because a really awesome discount awaits for you there. Anyway, let's jump right back into the episode and hear how Christina promotes the PR opportunities that she gets so she's able to grow her audience even more. And it is a great point. Like, hustle, like, it's not like this is some magic thing that happens. Like, there is a lot of work that happens behind the scenes. And then as you continue to push out where you appear, because that's something people forget. They appear once, they think people have viewed it already, but like Christina's been in Steve Harvey, like all these different places. I first really figured out about her when I was doing research and finding people for the Wealthy Authors Summit. And, if she's not pushing out that content, I don't know that she's been on those places. And people, like, there are a lot of people buying her book now, which we'll be throwing in the show notes. But for books, like, people discover you for the first time, and you just have to keep pushing where you appear. And for someone like you who's been on all these different places, how do you decide which ones to push out, and how do you push them out? Like Steve Harvey, I feel like that's pretty obvious. You just keep pushing that thing out if you were there, but how do you push all this stuff out?
I push everything out. This will go out for eternity. As long as there is Twitter, this will go out. There are automation tools where you can queue this stuff up. I'm on television every single month. That is in a queue. That is constantly. And so, for example, today I was on TV and I featured products from Home Depot and Bed Bath & Beyond and Amazon. Well, guess what happens when I tag them on these posts? They're going to retweet it or repost it. And then you're talking millions and millions of people. And it's, it's in these queues. And I've got companies, like the Grommet, who's got probably 1 million followers, and they're retweeting every time I put that product back up, even though it aired 6-7 months ago, because I'm giving them the love, they're giving me the love. It's just exponential how this happens. So same thing with podcasts. As soon as I finish a podcast, it goes into a bucket. And then it also, that I am helping to expose you to my audience, and people see that I'm walking the walk too, that I'm, doing this stuff. I'm credible in my space. If I've been on 1,000 media outlets, okay, she must really know what she's talking about. So yeah, it's automation is what it is.
And that's a really great idea, tagging people in your posts, because then they're more likely to engage with you, and that's you getting in front of more people. So I definitely love that tip. One of the questions I do want to ask you is, it does take hustle, and I feel like that is a big habit, but what would you say are some of the other habits that have really contributed to get you to where you are?
Well, once you guys start this and you get one media hit, you're going to want to do it again, because it's really cool. It's like when you see yourself on Forbes or you see yourself on television, you're like, wow, I like this. Like, this is, you get what it means. So the important thing is kind of systematizing it. I don't want to overwhelm anybody. Pick 5 journalists, pick 10 journalists. That's it. Put them in a Google Doc. Make a list of what you can pitch evergreen every single month. So things related to seasonality or those funky holidays, you know, like National Donut Day. I was on for National Healthy Foot Month, which is April. You can Google that. It really exists. But, you know, lay out, spend some time doing that so that your day-to-day is not any more than you're already doing. You're just adding maybe 5 minutes. But like I said, the ROI on that amount of time is absolutely worth it. I don't know anything else you could be doing in your business to expose yourself to that number of people than free publicity.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And having that spreadsheet with all the journalists, wondering what do you do exactly to find the journalists? I feel like it's pretty obvious. You go on these sites and you find writers, but has there been anything that's worked for you a lot to find these people?
Okay, my top secret resource, Google. Google is a question search engine. So, you know, if you're trying to get covered in your local paper, who writes about real estate for Inside Nova? That's one of my papers. And with the local ones, usually then it'll pop right up and you'll get their name, their phone number, and that little icon that you just have to click and their email pre-populates for you. Like, that's how easy it is.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there are databases. I mean, all kinds of things. And a lot of them are free. If they're on LinkedIn, there's a really great one called Rocket Reach that I use a lot. So if someone's on LinkedIn and they won't, for whatever reason, won't connect with you, usually the journalist will. But if they have a LinkedIn account, somehow this resource gets you their email address out of their LinkedIn account. And I think you get 30 free for a month.
That's not bad.
No, it's good, especially if you're just making that little list and you just need their email addresses, you know, 5 or 10.
Wow. Yeah, so we'll throw down the show notes and all the links we've mentioned throughout this episode. Christina's book is out. That will be in the show notes as well, so definitely get your copy. But where are some of the other places we can find you as well? If you just go to ChristinaDaves.com, I always say, if you type my name into Google and you can't find me, I'm in big trouble. That's what I do. But ChristinaDaves.com, that houses everything. And yeah, the book right now is only 99 cents to order. And we'll do the DIY guide to PR.com. Big play.
It is, and I'm giving you bonuses, media list, 190 national journalists. So you don't even have to use Google or try to find them. I'm handing you that on a silver platter. You know, trying to hit a really big bestseller list. So I'm really excited, and we're going to do it. We're going to sell those books. So it's only 99 cents, super easy. And it's great. It's chocked full of the stuff that we talked about here. And the difference from my last book to this book is I have case studies in there now. I have real world examples. So now you can read and say, oh, I can do this. I spoke at an event yesterday and talked about a client who has a food product, and a wealth manager who's writing a book said that sparked an idea in him. He knows how he's going to get media now from what I told him, what she did to get her food product on the Today Show. So just to spark your ideas. So it'll be a good read and just chock full of content. Well, all that will be in the show notes. Once again, Christina, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was such a pleasure having you on Breakthrough Success. Thanks. This episode of Breakthrough Success was brought to you by Jobber. Jobber is your business's command center. The easy-to-use app powers your sales, operations, and customer service all in one place. Start a free trial or sign up today to receive 20% off your first 6 months over at getjobber.com/im/breakthrough.